Today's signing of the controversial Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Agreement is dividing members of Parliament. The deal is being pushed through by the national government, but it's opposed by several other political parties and many kiwis. Professor Robert Patman of the University of Otago joins us to explain how the deal might have an impact within the Beehive. Good evening.
Good evening, Rebecca.
Is National likely to lose voters or supporters over this?
I think the jury's out. There's a lot of, it's an issue that's polarised the country. I think National will be hoping that once the deal is signed, and actually we learn that it could take some time before the deal is fully implemented, then the benefits will become self-evident. If you look at other free trade deals, the one with China for example, there was quite a bit of controversy, although not of this level, about signing that agreement. But once the benefits became evident, a lot of the opposition began to dissipate. I think from National's point of view, it will argue that it's pursuing the national interest in trying to get the most competitive conditions for businesses in this country. And it is a very significant trade deal, probably the most ambitious one signed, 12 countries. And it's 40% of the world's trade. So we can't really afford, from the government's point of view, to be left out of the action. And it's quite possible that China will be joining the TPP in the not too distant future.
How is the TPP already affecting the government's relationship with the public?
Well, I think the government, one of the things that's caused a lot of controversy is the fact that the terms of the agreement were secret. They were negotiated in secret. And that's caused a lot of rumour mongering and caused concerns that a deal has been negotiated in secret that none of us would like. But the counter argument to that is that when you've got 12 countries which are all having to make painful concessions to each other, not just this country, then it's better to keep that process confidential. Otherwise, any premature disclosure could completely scuttle the negotiations. We actually stand to do quite well out of this, particularly because we, as a country which depends on agricultural exports, we suffer from the perennial frustration that other countries try to impose tariffs on our exports. This deal will substantially remove that for many of the 12 countries that we're doing business with, which is projected to increase GDP by about 2.7 billion by 2025. That may understate the benefits, but I think two of the major concerns are A, that the government hasn't been completely transparent about what it's done, and B, that we're going to see an erosion of our sovereignty.
Which of our political parties are uniting against the TPP?
I think the Green Party has been the most consistently against it. I think their leadership has a coherent position and they oppose it. The Labour Party seems to be slightly divided over this. Two prominent members of the Labour Party, David Shearer, former leader, and Phil Goff, another former leader and trade minister who started off the TPPA, both have come out strongly for it, as has another former leader, Helen Clark. She is quite emphatically for it and said New Zealanders need to think hard about if we stay out of this agreement.
Is it likely to influence how the parties deal with each other?
I think so. You can see that there will be quite a lot of solidarity between, say, between the Green Party and some members of the Labour Party. There's quite a strength of feeling amongst some members of the Labour Party against it. But I think the Labour Party's position is much more nuanced than the Green Party. Andrew Little, the leader, has made it clear that he stands for free trade. He just doesn't want our sovereignty to be eroded in the process. And of course critics point out that if you're going to get concessions from other countries in terms of trade, getting access to their markets, we have to make concessions to them. So everyone has to give a bit on sovereignty.
From the University of Otago, Professor Robert Patman, thanks very much for your time. Thank you.